So we're here in Mow Cop, and we're on a little track just off Castle Road in Mow Cop, and there was a murder here, and the person murdered was Stephen Johnson. Who's Stephen Johnson, Dave?
Stephen Johnson, well, the year was 1990. Again, it was Christmas. Stephen Johnson was a 25-year-old salesman earning an extra bit of cash for his two children, Roxy and Deborah, for Christmas, who were aged 2 and 4 at the time. He was working for Scragg's taxis.
So he was making more money driving taxis
for Christmas, for the kids.
For Christmas, yeah.
Yeah, for the kids. And what happened, Stephen, according to Scragg's, picked up at a nightclub over in Longton around about 3 a.m. His last known call into base was around about 3:20, where he picked up and he was taking an individual or individuals to Patmore. That was the last they heard of Stephen. Base didn't hear anything else from him.
So that was it. There was nothing else.
There was maybe a few sightings between Mow Cop and Patmore. There was a report of an incident on the corner of Lordshire Place, over towards the Dog and Partridge,
right,
in Newchapel,
yeah,
Patmore, and two individuals arguing outside a taxi. I don't know whether anything come to that at all.
But they'd had this argument, and
there was two lads having an
argument
outside the taxi,
yeah,
not necessarily Stephen. So it looks very much like Stephen was told to drive to Mow Cop, to this lane.
So when this argument started, he was told to come here?
No, forget that argument now. That was just a report of an argument,
right,
that was taking place.
Yeah.
It could have absolutely
nothing to do with
Stephen.
Got you.
We don't even know whether it was Stephen's taxi.
Yeah.
But anyway, Stephen was told by whoever he picked up to drive here to Mow Cop. Obviously, when we look here, that person, whoever's picked Stephen up, needs to know the area. Stephen lived in Hanley. He didn't know the area.
So Stephen wouldn't have a clue where he is here, would he, really, at the end of the day?
So this is where Stephen was brought to, and then Stephen's body was found just around this corner at 7:20 a.m. that next morning.
The next morning.
Yeah.
So what do you actually think happened to Stephen then?
Oh, I don't know. He was obviously murdered. We don't know what the reason was. There was nothing stolen. His takings were still in the car. Stephen used to travel around with a little television, a portable television that in the 80s, 90s, and he used to take that with him, and that was still there. So robbery was not the motive.
So his money was still there, his TV was still there.
Yeah, that was all still there. What happened was Stephen was able to get out of the car, out of his taxi, and he must have walked about 20 yards before he collapsed in the snow, and he was found face down in the snow that next morning. We'll have a look down at the rookery on Jubilee Field in a second, where a witness actually saw an individual that very next morning who was blood stained. We won't go round to where Stephen was murdered, out of respect for Stephen and the family.
Yeah.
The one thing with this murder, it's still unsolved.
Yeah.
The murderer is still out there.
So to this day, we don't know who's done it.
We don't know. We don't know. And the family have put appeals out every year. Stephen's mum and dad were putting appeals out till 2020, and we're none the wiser. And this is over 30 years ago.
But from what you've told me there, it does seem to me like whoever did this does know this area.
Yeah, yeah, they must have.
Did know where they were going really with it.
The police have arrested 3 people for this. The last arrest was in 2014, where after 5 months on bail, the guy in question wasn't charged. So they have been following things up. I've spoken to the police on this case several times, because we did include it in the musical as a fresh appeal, which was with the backing of the police.
Yeah.
The case is reviewed on a periodical basis, which they have to for unsolved murders.
Yeah.
But to this day, we're none the wiser. But if we go down to the rookery, I'll show you the field whereby the last sighting of a potential murderer was seen.
Was actually seen, yeah.
Okay.
So we're here at Jubilee Fields. Can you tell me more about the witness then, Dave, please?
Okay, yeah. Well, here at the rookery, this is Jubilee Field that we're on. A witness, a dog walker, a lady, early morning, 8 o'clock-ish, that following morning, was seeing she was walking the dog on the field here.
So she's walking here on the field,
or towards those bushes over
either
there.
here or where, yeah.
And out of the field, the field behind, this lad appeared. The lad had got he was well dressed. He'd got a white shirt on, he'd got blue trousers. He'd got a blood-stained shirt. And bearing in mind we're in the middle of winter here, you know, the lady actually made a comment to him to say something like, the night before, morning after the night before, to which he said, much worse than that, and proceeded to walk off.
And carried on, did he?
Yeah, and carried on. So he was very, very dishevelled, was a term she used. She was able to put a photo print together, photo fit together for the police. And that was issued locally within the area. And like I said earlier, you know, 3 people were arrested, but nothing came of it. The thing that happened here locally, I was living in the rookery at the time.
So you actually lived at the rookery when this actually happened, did you?
Yeah, very much so. And family were over in St Andrews, just the other side of here. They actually fingerprinted over 400 residents.
So the police were everywhere trying to find.
Oh yeah, they were knocking on doors. You know, they fingerprinted 400 residents between the age of 25 to 40. But again, it turned up absolutely nothing. So to this day, that murder is still on the loose. Somebody locally knows something. You know, I do honestly believe that Stephen's family do require closure for this.
Definitely.
You know,
but it's just amazing that nobody's ever been found, isn't it, really?
No. So, yeah, that's where we are. Another very, very sad story that made national headlines.